How do you like your new office?
Well, it's smashing, really. Yep, I've got offices coming out of my ears now. I've got obviously an office in Brussels. Andrew and I each have got an office and the assistant's office next to it, so we've got a block of 4. In Strasbourg we've got 2 really rather horrid little pokey offices, and this one in this constituency, it's fine. You know, it's a great place, really professionally done out, and everything I need to know to do my job here when I'm here.
So you seem equipped to do anything, most things now. There's just one thing I'd like to ask you, Nick. It's about the jungle camp in France. There's been a couple of camps, one's been closed and this one got closed yesterday. It's just a comment that an Afghanistan illegal immigrant made. I'm just wondering if you can enlighten us on your part about it.
Yeah, a lot of it is in the newspapers today. So page 12 of the Sun here, bulldozer blitz on immigrants' Calais camp. Obviously they closed down the Songat camp some years back. This one has sprung up in its place. And these people are going to be turning up on our shores asking for houses in this country, asking to go on our benefit system, to use our health service and so on, despite the fact that the papers today are saying that all 278 who were arrested will be allowed to apply for asylum in France or given all expenses paid trips back to their homelands. So these people they passed various safe countries even to get to France. But on top of that, they've been offered asylum in France, but they still wanted to come here. And the reason why is plain in this article here, where it quotes defiant Jumar Amzazi, 25, who arrived in the jungle a month ago from Afghanistan, pleaded on behalf of his fellow asylum seekers how the UK is their one and only promised land. And he said, quote, "All of us want to go to England. When you get to England, they give you a house, clothes, benefits, food, everything, a better life." So, in short, they're not coming to England because they're asylum seekers. They've been granted asylum in France. They're coming here because this is soft touch Britain, because our government lets them. And it is an absolute scandal and a particular shame on the British government when we've still got ex-British soldiers who served in places like Afghanistan and Iraq living in cardboard boxes because they've got nowhere else to go.
So, do you not speak about it when you're in Strasbourg over there yourself? Does any of these matters ever come up?
Well, we try to, yeah, indeed. The European Union is hell-bent on having, of course, a European answer to asylum seekers, and they're now saying that every country's got to have a quota, and they believe that Britain, unbelievably, is under quota, and we've got to take more of our fair share. And in particular not leave them hanging around the Mediterranean too long. We've got to end up with them. So in the end, all the European establishment is concerned about is using any problem they find. All they want to do is to turn that problem into another weapon whereby to get more European integration. That's what the whole thing is about. And in this case it means more procedures whereby they take control from the national parliaments, including from our elected government in Britain, and they insist on control themselves. And as I say, it's a power grab, nothing more than that. But the result of their power grab on immigration and asylum issues is that we will get even more of them coming to this country, and however much we complain to our government, we simply won't have a right to do anything about it. Now, Andrew and I have tried to speak about this in the European Parliament, and each case we're there waving our hands and holding up our order papers, because you have to what's called catch the eye of the president or the person, the chairman of that particular session, and lo and behold, all too often at present we're finding that we can't catch their eye. So we're not being allowed to speak on this issue, even though it particularly relates to Britain and British interests. We will get it across. There's a very fine multimedia centre over there which we're going to start using, which will give material we shoot there for you on BNPtv. We're not going to be silenced. We are going to speak out. As far as I'm concerned, I've never met any ordinary person in Britain who, faced with a story like this, comes up with anything other than they're only coming here because it's soft touch Britain. We've got our own poor and hungry and needy and homeless to look after, and we should put our own people first and tell these people either to stay in countries which will offer them asylum, like France, or simply go back home to where they came from, because so many of these people from Iraq and Afghanistan, and so many of our boys and girls have died or lost limbs to sort their countries out. They are now to an extent sorted out. It's their duty to stay there and work to improve their countries and not come here and strive to change or leech off ours.
Well, it makes you wonder how they travel to France. They must go through a lot of countries to get to France.
Yeah, absolutely. To get to France, they've at least had to travel through, Italy or Austria or Hungary and the Balkans. All those countries now, they're safe. They come through Greece. They've all come through places where they could claim asylum. And if the Greeks or the Italians or the French are stupid enough to let these people claim asylum in their countries and leech off their welfare states, then that's their problem. But they've certainly got no right whatsoever to come to Britain.
Do you know of any camps that's in any other country, like Italy or any of these countries that they come to get to France?
I know, speaking to people down in Italy, that there's various unofficial camps all over Italy where these people come. It's one of their first ports of call when they first get across. The Italian government now under Berlusconi has got pretty tough, and some of it's flim-flam, but some of them have been closed down. They can't go around abusing and robbing local people in the way that they do in other parts of Europe. The Italians have got tough on them, which is of course one reason they don't want to stop in Italy. They want to get through there as quickly as possible, through France, end up in Britain.
Isn't it right that the benefit system is similar in France and in Europe than what it is in this country?
I think it is, and certainly, I was talking to our Swedish friends from the Swedish National Democrats. They've got unbelievable problems there with huge numbers of people from Iraq settling there as asylum seekers, and then, of course, in all sorts of trouble. They had in their second city of Södertälje is where all the Scania trucks come from. It was really the centre of Sweden's industrial base. And it's now it's one of the biggest Iraqi cities outside of Iraq. And over the last couple of months, they burnt down most of the supermarkets in Södertälje so that people have no choice but to use their local shops. But Sweden just puts up with it. But probably apart from Sweden, I think Britain's the most badly affected by this. And although in various countries, there are very generous benefits all over the place, but there's nowhere in these people's minds as soft and as good for them as Britain. So they keep on coming, and they'll keep on coming until we replace this government or the Tories, which a government which simply says the simple truth and what the British people want, and in a democracy are entitled to have, which is we're entitled to say our country is full, we've got too many people, poor people of our own, that we need to look after, we can't afford to sort out the rest of the world's problems, our front door is shut, please go somewhere else.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.